vision, leadership, workplace-related topics. The Voices of Victory podcast show. Subscribe today. Let's go.
Vision, leadership, self-esteem, workplace-related topics.
Subscribe.
The Voices of Victory podcast show.
Voices of Victory.
Vision,
Voices of Victory.
leadership,
Voices of Victory.
workplace-related topics.
The Voices of Victory.
Voices of Victory. Voices of Victory. Voices of Victory.
It's time for the show. You are now listening to the Voices of Victory podcast show.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mario Di Leone.
And welcome to Voices of Victory podcast. How are you today? I am Mario Di Leone, and today we have a very special guest on the show, Rob Mann, author of the children's book, The Tale of the Beph Pig. Now, Beph Pig is B-E-P-H. Now, this particular book is for 8 and up, kids that are 8 and up. And the beauty of it is you can get it at Amazon. You can get it at all places available online. But the best place to get it is available directly at beph.com. And that's B-E-P-H-P-I-G. And today we have on the line Rob Mann, the author of that. Rob, how are you today?
Awesome. How are you?
I'm doing well. I want to ask you a few questions about this particular book. As you know, we talk a lot about a variety of different creative artist fields come on the show a lot. People that are in the creative field, they always are coming on board, and we're doing interviews with them. And of course, I've done a lot of writing and screenwriting, and you're a writer. And I wanted to ask you, to get some understanding for the audience that's out there, right? The Tale of the Beph Pig. Like, what inspired you to write this thing?
It started with my kid.
Mhm.
We go to the library and I tell her to pick up whichever book, and she came across Phoebe and the Unicorn. And when I would read to her, she would laugh, and it really made me think. I said, wow, this book has a big impact on my kid. And the joy in her face, it gave me an idea. And I thought to myself, I'm verbose. Why don't I write a book to make my daughter laugh and maybe other kids too, and have an impact on their lives like this book has on my child's life? So the journey began in 2021.
Now, can you give a brief overview of the plot? Introduce, who is Beph? Give us a little intro, a little overview.
The book's about a unique group of animals who see a carnival as they see as an opportunity to get food and supplies from wasteful humans. They decide to disguise themselves because they figure humans aren't ready to see them walking and talking like humans. But things take a turn. And once the leader, Ray, the clever raccoon, learns he's on the blacklist, things take another turn. And Ray and crew have to take humans into their own territory to defeat and overcome. All right, well, he is a haughty pig. He despises people calling him a pig. When you see him, you see a pig. But in his mind, he's Idris Elba. He's a rock star. His personality is bigger than who you see.
Wow.
He's not into mud or slop. He's very by the book, so to speak.
Oh, wow. Now, what makes him kind of unique as a character? Because children's literature is so broad. There's so many different types of characters. What makes him kind of stand out as a character to kids?
Well, he's unique like all of us. I think they could relate. He's a pig that's not a pork pig. He's a beef pig. Each of us are unique in our own way. And when you get to learn us, each different person, you find out there's more to the person than what you see. It's kind of like that, but he's upset that he's a pig. It's like he feels like he's in the wrong body.
So it sounds like to me that he stands out with his uniqueness, right? That sounds about right?
Right.
Yeah. So he's a unique character, and he likes to shine. He likes to be different, but he's not your average pig, basically.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Now, what themes are explored in the book? There's different kinds of themes, there's all different kinds of messages and themes that come across in children's books. So what kind of themes come across? Is it more about identity, self-expression? What is it about?
Oh, this one's friendship, bravery, not judging a book by its cover, and being true to thyself.
Got it. And that's the whole point of that, standing out in your uniqueness, being true to yourself, standing true to who you are. It's a beautiful thing. Now, when you started to develop him as a character, Beph is a quite intriguing intriguing name, especially the way it's spelled. It's Beph, right? How did
Yeah.
how did you come up with it, and how does it hold significance within the story?
Okay. The name Beef Pig is completely based on my neighbor, who I consider a friend. I would use his initials instead of his name to my kid. And one day when we were outside, my neighbor came by and we were talking with him.
Mm-hmm.
And my kid said something, and I used his initials instead of his name. So from that point, she started laughing, and I said, imagine his initials as like a plant. And then we just kept using his initials in all these different scenarios, and we'd laugh.
Huh.
And before you knew it, it became something.
So it's not only an inside joke, but it's almost a way that you use the initials to kind of refer to different things. Was it the kind of initials that you were using, like the way you were using it was in regards to not only bonding, but also maybe expressing feelings?
Right, yes.
Absolutely.
Very much so.
Yeah, see, that's really cool. That's really cool. Now, when it comes to that, what kind of message do you think it's sending out to the young readers overall? If you had a takeaway for the kids, what would be the message?
Live in your truth. Don't worry about what people say. Stand strong and be confident in who you are.
Yeah, that's awesome. Then, we're always talking about confidence on this particular channel. So this children's book actually plays into it absolutely perfect, which is great from the sounds of it.
Right.
Now, in terms of your writing process, right, when it came down to the writing process, when you were inspired to write this, was it your own kids that kind of inspired you to write this? Did you encounter any surprises along the way?
Right, I did. I think as I'm writing it, I discovered that I might be Beef Pig more than anyone. I wasn't confident in what I was writing, but I wanted to prove to my kid that I can do it as well. And I never wrote a book before, so I'm trying to figure it out. And I see by the end, I feel confident. And now I actually have a book based on an inside joke. So I see a lot of Beef Pig in myself.
There we go. That's pretty wild. Now, when you how did you do illustrations for it? Like the cover or graphics? Did you have somebody do the illustrations for you? How did that work out?
A friend of mine has a really good illustrator that he uses. So I reached out to him and he put me in touch with them. And thankfully, the first idea that they showed me wasn't what I had in mind, but it actually helped me with one of the characters in the book. It was like a blessing at the same time.
Oh, that's pretty cool. All right. Now, when it comes to we talked about the target audience. The target audience is pretty much 8 and up, and it seems to lend itself to the kind of story that is more for the morals of self-esteem and falling in lines of self-esteem, which is great. When it came to putting the book out there, were there any other people, other parents that maybe it resonated with? Like, have you got any feedback? I think that's the big question. Have you got any feedback from any other readers or parents out there?
Yeah, I have. And I inspired someone else to write a book. So that's a win in itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, do you have plans for a sequel?
Yes, I do.
Do you have any additional stories set in Beef's world, too?
I do. I already have the name of the title. I figured once I'm finished, I'm working on something I want to send to Hulu.
Okay, good.
A screenplay. And then when that's over, I'm going to start tackling the next chapter of Beef Pig.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Now, when it comes to like other future projects, right? If you were going to give advice to any of the other authors out there who wish to write children's literature, they're going to write kids' books. Like, what would you give them if you were going to give them advice in terms of maybe they were afraid to get started, or maybe they were afraid to start writing, they don't have any writing experience? What would you tell them?
What I recommend that they do is what I did as well. I kept a notepad with me and I took long showers. I found that sounds odd, and I felt most creative in the shower, or like a kind of
Quiet,
relaxing, quiet place, right?
Yeah.
So I would write all of these ideas down, and then I would storyboard, and at some point put everything together, and it started making sense.
Oh, that's pretty wild. So yeah, a lot of people don't know about that. And it's a very good point. Like, I want to share with you that when you are coming up with ideas in the shower, that is never a bad thing. And I want to say this to the audience out there, is that our best ideas come when the mind is most relaxed. So if you're in the shower and your brain is relaxed, your body's relaxed, like you're in that moment moment, all the ideas are going to hit you. Matter of fact, there are like special types of books that you could actually get that you could take in the shower with you that are waterproof that you could actually write on while you're in the shower. And that is specifically for people who get those ideas that are in the shower. And how this actually works is real simple when the mind is most relaxed. So for example, if you hit the shower, then the ideas come. Or if you were to go for a 2-mile walk and your mind is relaxed, the ideas would come, right? Anytime you're putting massive effort and massive thought into something and you feel frustrated or you're banging your head against the wall, the moment you do something, the moment that you let go and just relax and do something that is going to take your mind off of it, that's when all the ideas come. You know what I mean? So for example, if I'm a writer and I'm sitting down at my desk and I'm like, oh man, like I can't, I've been at this for an hour and a half and I can't think of anything, right? What's happening is I'm putting too much effort. I need to let go and leave the computer, walk outside, go for a 3-mile walk. When I come back, the brain is very relaxed and you haven't been thinking about it and all of the ideas just hit you. They hit you. Now, I saw this same exact thing, Rob, that when I was doing computer programming, okay? When I was doing computer programming, I would sit there for like 3 hours trying to code, and I would hit a brick wall. I would hit like a mistake. I'm like, I can't do this. I just can't fix this. I get so frustrated, so upset. And I was like, I just couldn't do it, And what I actually did though, was I actually would get up, go to the 7-Eleven around the corner, get a Slurpee and come back. And all of a sudden, all the answers to my problems would show up. Okay. And it works the same way. And this is really important for all the listeners out there is that when you're putting stuff together, it's really a good idea. Right.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime. And what we're going to do is feel free to reach out to Rob if you have any questions about children's books, if you have any questions about maybe putting yourself out there and publishing, he would be happy to kind of answer some questions for you. And feel free. Rob, thank you again for for coming on today. And I'm thankful for having you and appreciative for having you today. Thank you for coming forward.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.